Hello, today's video is going to be me telling you where I get my books from and where I would recommend you get your books from as well. I got this idea because on my video, I'm a hater, people left some fantastic comments and they were saying why they like my channel, and the thing that kept cropping up was people were saying you read books that I've never heard about. So I thought I would just tell you how I find like very obscure books. So I'm going to be talking about that, showing you some books that I bought recently from those different places. And do you like my new setup? Isn't it just fantastic? I got a new bookshelf. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? It'll never be complete. Never. So first up, and the place where I buy the majority of my books, the majority of the books that you see behind me, I have bought them from these places, and it is charity shops. All here, my red spines I've got from charity shops. I got these two here, which these are Oxford World's Classics. I got these, which is Penguin Classics, and the Black Spine Penguin Classics. So people that say you can't get classics in charity shops, absolutely ridiculous, because this is how I've built up my classics collection like this. So two books that I have to show you that I got the other day from a charity shop is I got this one, which is The Swallows and the Amazon, which is of course a classic children's book, and I also got this. Look how gorgeous it is. Beautiful. This is the Oxford Books of Stories for Juniors. This is book number 1, Heroes and Strangers, and it is illustrated by, like, guess who's my favourite illustrator? Quentin Blake! Charity shops are the main place you need to get yourself into them. If you're in America, I believe that they're called thrift stores. You're helping out a charity, the books are really cheap, and you get some fantastic choice. And another place where I buy my books is jumble sales. I love jumble sales. They're normally held in church halls across England. You have to get there really early when it says it's open. You literally have to get at that time. People will be queuing, and that's when you get the best stuff. You get fantastic vintage items. I've got a lot of my elephant collection from there. You will be elbowed in the face probably by an elderly woman. And another place is boot sales. I went to boot sales all the time when I was a child. I absolutely love them. So I got this book from boot sale the other day. This is The World is Full of Laughter by Dolly Sem. It's a true story. It's about Dolly's time in a mental institute. Her dad worked in the film business. Everyone thought she had a glamorous life, and it led to the point where she got a knife and stood over her dad when he was asleep, and she was going to kill him, and that's why she went into a mental hospital. And she talks about that. It's a beautiful thing she's written right at the beginning. This book started as a possible suicide note and ended up a celebration of life. Another place where I tend to get books is in vintage shops or second-hand stores. So I got this one, which is about Monroe's life. This is by Gloria Steinem, and it's just about her life. It's very interesting. Something I love about Monroe is she once said, she was asked about fame, and she said, "I've never belonged to anyone, so I might as well belong to the world." And that's incredibly true. If you read about her childhood, no one wanted her. She was passed around families, she suffered sexual abuse, she then ended up marrying her neighbour. Like, she had this crazy life before she became famous. I then got this, which is Native American Mythology by Paige Bryant, and I have this, which for fantasy readers this probably would be interesting for you. It's called Snow White Red Blood, and they basically asked 21 masters of modern fantasy to rewrite fairy tales. And it's been put in this kind of anthology. Show you the cover. Now onto a little sneaky way that I get more obscure books. Is what you do is you go online, so you go on something like, say, Amazon, you go into the book section and you type in what you want to read about. So I went into Amazon and I typed in suicide, and that's how I found this book, Suicide Notes by Michael Thomas Ford. It's rubbish, don't even bother with it. It also had a list of other books that are about suicide. I then typed in God, and that's how I found The God File by Frank Turner Holland. Spoke about this on the channel before. Love this! Read it! Read it! Hold it up like Simba and read it! You don't have to buy it off Amazon. You can obviously look out in charity shops for it and build up a wish list and do whatever you want. That's how you find more obscure things. Let me just pick up Suicide Notes. Is there a bin nearby? I'm guessing someone might type in the comments is, why don't you go to independent bookshops? I personally think that bookshops run on themes and what sells best, and that's completely understandable, and it's marketing and I understand it and I'm fully with you on that. For example, if a book, say, comes out and it does really well and it's about magical realism, I feel like bookshops, what they do is, because they're independent bookshops and they need to get more people in, they'll see there's a trend of magical realism, so all the magical books that we have, we are going to put in the front display of the shop, and we're going to put on the front tables, and when people ask us for book recommendations, we're going to recommend magical realism books because that's what's in topic at the moment, that's what's hot, and I fully get it, and I don't actually have a problem with it because I think it's a fantastic thing to do because you want to stay in business. But for me personally, I really like bookshops that are a massive mix of books and they're just not kind of trying to push one genre in your face. I also find sometimes bookshops have books that are going to sell, so they have a lot of Celia Ahern. I'm just too hipster. I don't like mainstream. Sometimes I find it a little bit stressful when it's overfilled and you can't get a book out because it's all like too tightly packed. I always feel really guilty as well when I go in a bookshop and I don't buy anything. I don't know, there's just something about it because it's such an intimate experience and you're like, I want to support you, but your shop is so piled, it's stressing me to be in here. Does anyone else feel like that? I feel like I'm saying something really terrible. If I've got a specific book that I really want, then yes, maybe I would go into an independent bookshop and say, do you have this book? I suppose it's a choice of where you want to spend your money. Like, if I have £12, someone gave it to me and said you can spend it on whatever you want, I wouldn't spend it on one book. I would probably go into a charity shop, buy loads of books, or go to a boot sale, or do all the different stuff that I said in this video. And if I wasn't going to spend it on books, I'd probably spend it going to the cinema to see a horror film because I love horror and I want to really help horror out. What is this? What the hell is happening here? I've got like lines across my body. So that concludes the video. Tell me how you find your books. If you like the new setup, I love it. I may be doing a book tour. Is that what they're called? A tour of my books, like a book cruise. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. I never know how to end them. I started saying like, I'll see you next time for another one, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. Shall we hug? Shall we? Oh, you don't like physical contact? Oh, sorry. Oh, dear. Yeah, that was better. Kissing an elephant ornament was better, Hannah, than saying see you next time. What is wrong with me?